From this chapter, the students will identify specific events that led to the Cold War. Why and how did the Cold War start? And how did the Cold War end? The Cold War began after World War II, from 1946 until 1990. It was an era of confrontation between former allies in the West, especially the United States of America, and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or Soviet Union. It is a war of ideologies, democracy against communism. The clash of these ideologies between communism and democracy resulted in conflicts between some countries which embraced these different ideologies. The Cold War is known as Cold as it was a war of words and propaganda that did not involve a direct confrontation between these two superpowers, the US and Soviet Union. Nonetheless, proxy wars had been fought in other countries supported by these two superpowers. The US and Western European countries believed that the communists wanted to take over the world. They realized that Soviet advances in Eastern Europe was part of Soviet strategy to control the world. Joseph Stalin, Soviet's premier, tried to place all the Eastern European countries under communist control, such as Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. Why and how did the Cold War start? Differences in ideologies and the end of World War II. The clash between capitalists and communists had begun since the Russian Revolution, and the situation had become worse after the end of World War II. Germany was divided into four parts by the Allies to prevent it from regaining power. Soviet Union ultimately occupied East Germany and East Berlin, whereas the Allies, consisting the US, Britain, and France, occupied the western part of Germany and some parts of Berlin. Berlin was divided into East and West Berlin. In 1948, the US, Britain, and France attempted to reunite Germany, but the Soviets disagreed. Soviet Union sought to control all parts of Berlin. The Potsdam Conference was held after the end of World War II in Europe, late July 1945. It involved President Harry Truman from the US, Prime Minister Winston Churchill from the United Kingdom, and Premier Joseph Stalin representing the Soviet Union. There were disagreements during the Potsdam Conference between these three major powers on the post-war order. Joseph Stalin wanted to cripple Germany completely. It was estimated around 20 million Russians were killed in World War II. He wanted to put Eastern Europe under the Soviets' influence, whereas President Truman did not want to punish Germany and repeat the mistakes of the Treaty of Versailles at the end of the First World War. The result of the Potsdam Conference led to mutual distrust between these two superpowers. Mutual distrust between the US and Soviet Union. The US suspected that the Soviet Union would take over other countries in Western Europe and spread communism. The Western European countries were worried that the Soviet Union will be able to build nuclear weapons one day. The US feared that the European countries and countries in Asia would fall into the influence of communism. The cultural and economic differences prolonged the conflict between the US and Soviet Union. In 1946, Stalin declared that communists and capitalists could not work together because of this mutual distrust and suspicions with each other, resulted in the start of the Cold War. The Berlin Blockade. In June 1948, the Soviet Union blocked off all roads and railroads to and from East Germany. As a result, other countries were not accessible to some parts of Berlin, and people living in Berlin was starving. Then the US and the United Kingdom provided food aid to these people by airlifting food supply. This was known as the Berlin Blockade, and it lasted for 300 days. The blockade ended on May 1949. The formation of NATO. In April 1949, NATO, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was formed by the US and Western European powers, which included 12 states initially: the US, United Kingdom, France, Denmark, Iceland, Italy, Norway, Portugal, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. It was a military alliance. All members agreed to assist each other and defend each other in the event of war with the Soviet Union. Stalin viewed NATO as a threat to Soviet Union and his Eastern European allies. Joseph Stalin retaliated with the formation of the Warsaw Pact. On May 1955, in Warsaw, Poland, the Warsaw Treaty of Friendship, Cooperation and Mutual Assistance was formed. It was known as the Warsaw Pact. It was a defensive military alliance of the Soviet Union to counter NATO. Warsaw Pact included all of the Eastern European countries under the influence of the Soviet Union, such as Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and East Germany. All these states became the satellite states of the Soviet Union. This was Soviet Union's response to the establishment of NATO. The Berlin Wall. On August 1967, the Berlin Wall was constructed. It divided the eastern and western parts of Berlin. Most of the people in the east were not allowed to leave. East Berlin was controlled by the Soviet Union, whereas West Berlin by Western countries. The Berlin Wall was officially taken down at the end of the Cold War. The Truman Doctrine. In March 1947, the Truman Doctrine was announced. The US would fight communism worldwide and contain Soviet Union's spread of communists around the world. In order to prevent the spread of communism, the US provided Greece and Turkey, for example, aid amounting to $400 million. Furthermore, the Marshall Plan was formulated. Marshall Plan was a financial aid to help make Western European countries stronger and to resist the spread of communism. Around 16 Western European countries received US $13 billion in aids and loans.